Aisha, please start.
Good evening and welcome to the fourth day of the national level expert talk series on health and society, classical and contemporary approaches. The speaker of today's session is Professor C.S. Mohanavelu, former reader in history, Presidency College, Chennai. I request Dr. R. Meenakshi, Vice Principal and Head, Department of Physics, to introduce the speaker.
I welcome you all to the fourth day of this expert talk series on health and society, classical and contemporary approaches, organized by the IQAC of CTTE College for Women in association with CSIR, Institute of Minerals and Material Technology, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. As mentioned previously, the objective was to foreground the approaches in traditional Indian medicine, and therefore today's talk is on German missionaries' contribution to Tamilology with special reference to Siddha medicine, especially Jigar Bal by Dr. C.S. Mohanavelu. He is a retired reader in history from Presidency College, Chennai, but a student still filled with eagerness to listen and learn, as we can be witnessed in his presence in all the lectures of this expert talk series. Dr. C.S. Mohanavelu has done extensive research work to unravel the interactions and contributions of the German in and to Tamil Nadu as documented in their private records and public correspondence. Dr. C.S. Mohanavelu's doctoral research led him to investigate the origin of German Indology and trace its development over the past 3 centuries in a particular branch, German Terminology. He has traveled to Germany under DAAD scholarship and managed to get access to Franklin archives in Halle. These archives in Halle store more than 2 lakh valuable documents, which are accounts by the German missionaries on the social, economic, and other customs in Tamil Nadu, sent back to Germany over 300 years, says Dr. C.S. Mohanavelu. He recalls finding sack full of Tamil palm leaves during this visit in 1986 to Halle. He holds the view that although German Indology dates as far back as 1652, with the arrival in India of the German Hendrik Ruth, 1620 to 1668, the effective and significant German interest in Indology came to be realized only from 1706 when Ziegenbalg arrived at Tarkambadi with a royal Danish order to propagate the gospel among the Malabarians, as Tamils were known in Europe in those days. Ziegenbalg, 1682 to 1790, the first German missionary to set foot in India. The German missionaries who came to Tamil Nadu in 18th century, believing Tamil to be a barbarian, found to their surprise that this was not so, and on the contrary, it was just the opposite. Thus, the message sent back home to the king was, Tamilians are not barbarians, and Tamil is a rich and ancient language. Jigarwal, who was the center of this message, was criticized for taking this position. To prove this point, he took with him to Europe the young Tamil Peter Malayappan. On July 26, 1715, Malayappan was given an audience by King Frederick IV of Norway and the patron of Jigarwal. Malayappan gave a resounding lecture in fluent German and convinced the king of the breadth of Tamil culture. Dr. Mohanavelu has the credit for discovering the fascinating story of Peter Malayappan. At this junction, I would like to share another important vignette of information related to this piece of history. The house of Jiganbal, situated in Tarkambadi, was converted into Jiganbal Museum on Intercultural Dialogue in the year 2017. The museum was inaugurated by our former chairman, Honorable Justice J. Kanagaraj, who was also the administrator of Tamil Evangelical Lutheran Church. We were moved by the connection made possible through our respected chairman, who, despite his earthly departure earlier this year will forever remain with us in our grateful reminiscence. Now, coming back to eminent resource person, Dr. Work, his doctoral thesis, German Contribution to Tamil Studies, has been published as a book, German Tamilology, by the Indian Council of Historical Research. In 2012, he undertook a major research project funded by the University Grant Commission UGC and has published by Stanford University in January 2012, entitled Annotated Biography for Tamil Studies Conducted by Germans in Tamil Nadu during 18th and 19th centuries, a virtual digital archives project. He has published 40 articles in Tamil and English newspapers and international journals. Currently, the academician has taken on himself the mammoth task of compiling all German writings in Tamil over 300 years. May I request Dr. C.S. Mohanavelu to present his expert talk this evening. Thank you.
Good evening and greetings from Mohanavelu. Thank you, Madam, for Vice Principal, Madam, for giving a very big, deep-rooted introduction. And thank you very much. First and foremost, I thank Chevalier T. Thomas Elizabeth College for Women for giving me a potential platform to say something about research-oriented data, to give research-oriented data about the German missionaries' contributions. The theme of this series is Health and Society, Classical and Contemporary Approaches, and my presentation is entitled German Missionaries' Contribution to Tamilology, with special reference to Siddha medicine, especially Siegenball. Well, I need to give a small briefing about my topic. Tamilology, what is that my friend used to ask me? Tamilology is just Tamil studies, and German Tamilology is German contributions to various branches of Tamil studies. This presentation in general is about the contributions of German missionaries to various branches of Tamil studies, like, for example, Tamil language and literature, indigenous Tamil society and culture, our eating habits and dining manners, rites and rituals, feasts and festivals, legends and fables, our science and technology, etc., during the last 300 years, especially during the 18th and 19th centuries, are remarkable. Right from the tiny grass to the huge banyan trees, from the newborn babies to the age-old centenarians, from the rich riding the palanquins to the poor walking barefoot, not a single observation ever escaped those watchful German eyes for nearly 300 years, all of which they wrote in their hundreds of diaries and sent them to Halle, sent them to Germany. Now, before going into the topic, let me give a small historical background. Now, the year 1505, 1505, that was a year when the first two Germans landed, set their foot on the Indian soil. Hans Meyer and Balthasar Spranger were the very first two Germans who arrived, who landed in Kayankulam in today's Kerala state as early as 1505, that is more than 500 years ago. They mingled with the Nair community of Kayankulam and wrote down in their diaries all about the day-to-day activities of the Nair community people, their eating habits, dining manners, society and culture, daily routine works, everything they wrote in their diaries. And after say, a few weeks or after a few months, they went back to Germany. In the year 1509, Sprenger published his maiden Indian experience as a book with the German title. I'll give the title name, Die Meerfahrt. That means in English, the sea journey. The sea journey. In that we can find the first hand. This serves as a first hand source material for understanding the Indo-German the initial pioneer contacts. That was in the year 1505. They came here, and the book was published in 1509. Next, we go to 1620. 1620, the Danish king Christian IV the Danish king Christian IV he was the king of Denmark and Norway. He had established in Copenhagen the Danish East India Trading Company, and then he was looking for many fields in eastern on the Coromandel coast, somewhere in Ceylon and Tamilagam, to establish East India Trading Danish East India Trading Company branch offices. So in 1620, his emissaries were able to conclude a treaty with the Tanjore Nayaka named Raghunatha Nayakar, also known as Achudappa Nayakar. According to this treaty, I think this treaty had been written on gold leaf and now preserved in Copenhagen State Archives. According to this treaty, the Danish East India Company was established in Tarangambadi in Tranquebar, and nearly 16 coastal villages, Tranquebar, Porayar, and other 16 coastal villages came under the Danish settlement. From then on, they were conducting trading activities from 1620 onwards. And then, as years went off, we come to know about, we come to see the next king, King Frederick IV. This is the king. Instead of showing interest for trading activities, this king, the second in our series, this king was very much interested in propagating the Lutheran Christian faith, Lutheran Christianity all over the Europe, and especially in his Danish colony of Tranquebar, Porayar, and other coastal villages. He had an insatiable thirst for spreading the gospel in the East Indies. Okay, that is fine. But he could not enlist even a single Dane to come as missionaries to fulfill their king's wish. Instead, they criticized the king in very strong words. Quote, they said, when there is enough to do for Christianity in Europe itself, why our king is spending so much of money on the far off Tamilagam? And some more words they said. So they did not come for no Dane came forward, and the king will not let off like that. He had determined to spread the Christian faith, Lutheran Christian faith, somehow or the other in Tamilagam. At that time, in Germany, especially in the city Halle, there was a chief pastor named August Hermann Franke of the Lutheran sect. He trained young Germans as missionaries, German Lutheran missionaries. But that time, Germany did not have money to send them to far-off places. Danish king had money but no missionaries. These two met. So the king was very happy to get the news from Germany that the missionaries are ready and the king has to fund them. The king has to give them money and other perquisites. The king was very happy. He wrote to the chief pastor August Hermann Franke to send missionaries. And the first two missionaries were Siegenball and Heinrich Plüschow. This is just a small roadmap to know how the Germans happened to come to Tamil Nadu. Now I will give you a socio-cultural background. Tamil Nadu, 300 years ago, was known to the Europeans as Malabar and the Tamilians as Malabarians. Friends, unfortunately, a total wrong notion that the Malabarians were barbarians without any refined language and without any culture prevailed in the whole of Europe. But that was not the fact. The very first two German missionaries also came with the same bias. The king of Denmark, whom we see in the Danish king Frederick IV, also had the same wrong idea that the Tamil people were barbarous, and though they are without any refined, deep-rooted language for them. Let us see what happened then. He invited the two missionaries, and he gave royal edicts, royal orders. Nearly 15 orders are there. Two are most important among them. The first one is, there in the East Indies, the king's order, quote, there in the East Indies, you will mind nothing other than spread of the gospel. And number two is, daily the missionaries will write in diaries whatever they have seen, whomsoever they came across, and all the matter concerning promotion of the gospel, promotion of Christianity in Tamil Nadu. With these orders, Siegenborg, Siegenborg and Pluschow landed in, they left Copenhagen sometime in November 1705 and landed in Tranquebar in July 1706 after a voyage of nearly 7 months or so. Now this is, you are seeing the first German, Lutheran German missionary to India in general and to Tamil Nadu in particular. He also had the same bias that the people are barbarians and it will be easy for us to convert them to Christianity very soon. As soon as he landed in Tranquebar, he saw the first time he saw the Tamil people, black-skinned, fisher folk, without any upper garment, with only a small dhoti, and he was very much fascinated. Yes, the Holy Cross has sent us here to convert this into his faith. So, then if you talked in English, German language or Latin, which he knew Latin also, if you talked in German or Latin language about the propagation of Christianity, no Tamil citizen would have understood. It is rather simple to know. So he needed somebody to teach him Tamils. In those days, ever since the Danish East India Trading Company was established in Tranquebar, they employed for monthly salary a few dobashis. Dobashis are those Tamil people whose mother tongue was Tamil, but who were well conversant with Latin, Portuguese, Dutch, and German. So with these dobashis, the Danish East India Trading Company was conducting its business. Among them, two dobashis, Ganapati Vadyar and Alappa, were very resourceful. So Siegenball employed them for monthly salary to teach him Tamil alphabets first. Tamil alphabets. And then gradually they taught him basic Tamil literature like Atichudi, Kondrai Vendan, Nidhi Venba, and many Tirukkural, Tiruvasakam, etc. First of all, when Siegenborg heard Atichudi, we wanted to know the meaning of each word. Aram Saya Virumbu, Aruvadu Sinam, Yelvadu Karavel, Ivadu Vilakel, Udayadu Vilambel, etc., etc., Ukamadu Kaividel. Then his Dobash, his teacher Alappa and Ganapati Vadyar, explained to Siegenborg the meaning of these words. Then Kondrai Vendan, then Nidhi Venba. All these, the words of each literature, Siegenborg learned. And one more thing, Siegenborg had, by gift of God, Siegenborg had a very good qualification, very good aptitude for learning any language very sooner than any other person. So he saw, he saw the palm leaves of Nidhi Venba. You can see this. I will zoom out. Now see, you can see on the left hand side, Nidhi Venba. This is the first stanza of Nidhi Venba, which his teacher showed to Siegenborg. Gradually, Siegenborg changed his mind. When people can have this much of ancient literature to their credit, how can one call them as barbarians? Siegenborg was very soon convinced that the Tamil people were not barbarians. He did not leave out there. He wanted his Danish king, his teacher, August Hermann Franke, in particular, but in general, all the Europeans also should change their wrong notion about the Tamil peoples. So, what he did, he came in the year 1706, and in 2 years, he did one. That is, he collected, he wrote in first letter to his professor godfather, he wrote like this, quote, Most Christians in Europe suppose the Malabarrians to be a very barbarous people, but this arises from the Europeans who have been amongst them not understanding their language, so that they have not been able to read their books but have drawn their conclusions from outward appearances. I must acknowledge that as soon as I had gained a little acquaintance with their language and could talk to them on various subjects, I began to have a much better opinion of them. And when at last I was able to read their own books, I found that the Malabarrians discussed the same philosophical subjects as the savants of Europe, and that they had a regular written law wherein all theological subjects were treated of and demonstrated. This surprised me extremely, and I was delighted to be thoroughly instructed in their heathenism from their own writings. So this is a praising note. As soon he came to convert the Dalits into Christianity, but there is no note elsewhere. Nowhere one can find how many Dalits did Sigenbal convert to Christianity. He wrote praising notes about Tamil language, literature, culture, grammar, Tamil, everything he wrote like this. And then about, as this paper is to focus more on medicine, I will go to the next visual, in which Siegenbalg said thus about our knowledge of medicine, better known as Siddha Vaidyam. Siegenbalg wrote in his diaries. What Siegenbalg wrote about our ancient Siddha Vaidyam is worth here to peruse. Quote, in the medical study, these heathens, that is Tamil people, are rather well brought up. The books in which such matters are written are the best among all other books. They believe that every human being gets three main diseases while in their mother's womb, into which all other diseases can be grouped. Correspondingly, they are detectable through three pulse system. All about this they wrote in a book called Vaguda Sastiram. These three kinds of pulses can be felt at the wrist, neck, feet, and knuckles. For ladies, one examines the pulse in the left wrist, and for men in the right wrist, and so on. The urine test is done among them as among the Europeans. The patient passes urine in a particular vessel. Certain oil is taken in a straw and let to trickle down in this vessel. If the oil drops went down to the bottom of the vessel, then the patient cannot be saved. And if the oil drops float, then the patient can be saved. And what Siegenball wrote at the end of this observation is worth our perusal. And he says, because such kinds of vegetation, that is herbal vegetation, ours is a tropical vegetation. He writes a quote, because such kinds of vegetation are not to be found in Europe, one does not know of such kinds of tropical diseases. From this one can judge that these Tamil medical men are not dull people as one might think in Europe. So yeah, all are praising notes about our medical system, culture, language, literature. All this he wrote in his diaries and sent them to Copenhagen, to Denmark, and also to Germany. Now, Siegenbalg wants to do one more thing, to change the wrong notion which is persistent with the Danish king and his professor godfather. He wanted to do one thing. He came in the year 1706, and in 1708 August, he sent one bunch of records. What is that bunch of records? 119 indigenous native literature from Tulgapiam, Nannul, grammatical works, and then Tirukural, Tiruvasagam, Tiruvambavai, Thevaram, so many literature, numbering 119 literatures. He collected them, and he asked his teachers, Ganapati Vadyar and Alappa, to explain the meaning of each word in each of them, and he wrote a annotated bibliography for each literature. For Athichudi, one small annotated bibliography in German language, because if he sent those palm leaves to Germany, nobody will be there to read it. So he wrote the topic, a title of the book, author's name, and what is the content of that. Each and every 119 books, title, author's name, and their contents shortly. All this he did for 2 years, from 1706 to 1708. He prepared this, and sent them to Halle, to his professor godfather, and requested his professor to publish them in journals, in newspapers, so that the Europeans on reading that will change their mind and have a good correct opinion that the Tamil is a very old, rich, ancient language. The Tamil people are not barbarous, well civilized people. But alas, dear friends, alas, it is a pity that his teacher, Professor August German Franke, who sent them, who recommended their names to the Denmark king, felt very angry and threw away all these 119 literatures, the details of this literature into dust, saying, quote, these German missionaries were sent to exterminate heathenism in India and not to spread heathen nonsense all over Europe. So they were put into dust for several years. After 215 years, another German missionary, William Carland, took them out of dust and published them as a book, Malabar Heathenism. So we owe our gratitude, we Indians and Tamil people in particular owe our gratitude to a great magnitude to Sigenbal for having changed, for having toiled, for having taken enormous, painful steps to change the wrong notion that Tamil people were barbarous, which was not so. And then, about what he said about Siddha Vaidyam. Yeah, I think I have read it, Yes, I have read it. Now we will go to next visual. Next person to come, it is not Siegenbalg alone. When Siegenbalg sent such medical reports, in Germany, what was resultant happening? Many natural scientists, many doctors were willing to know more and more about tropical diseases, about which they knew nothing in Europe, because this tropical herbal vegetation will not grow on the will not grow on the European soil because of the cold climate. Next to come is Johann Ernst Grundler. Friends, he spent he spent 11 years. Johann Ernst Grundler came to Tranquebar. He was supposed to help Siegenbalg, but he never did. He never helped Siegenbalg in religious activities. Instead, he spent his tenure period in Tamil Nadu, in Tranquebar, is 11 years. And number of converts he affected is 0. He could not convert. He did not convert. He did not convert even a single Dalit boy, single Tamil citizen into the Lutheran Christian faith. What was he doing all those 11 years? He appointed Tamil Pandits for monthly salary, dozens of Tamil Pandits for monthly salary, asked them to go around the Danish colony, Strankubar, Parayar, Sirgali, Mayavaram, you go to all these places and go visit rich people's houses, learned people's houses, and ask them, get from them palm leaf bundles on Siddha medicine, only Siddha medicine, medical palm leaves. If they are not willing to give, you just persuade them to give it for reference and return. Note this, for reference and return within quotes. Or you can buy them, Tamil medical palm leaves. That way he collected, he brought, the Pandits brought nearly a few dozens of Tamil medical palm leaves from village houses. Siegenbalg requested them to read every medical palm leaf and came to know, to his unimaginable surprise, that the Tamil people, Tamil doctors, better known as Siddha Vaidyas, knew of so many diseases, as many as 4,448 diseases, and corresponding diagnostic method, curative herbal prescriptions, everything. He came to know of that. A separate chapter has been devoted in my published doctoral dissertation, that is chapter 4, why Germans were fascinated by tropical diseases and corresponding curative treatments. So this is all because when you go to a foreign place, when you find there something which you have not found earlier before, you are fascinated. That is simple logic. Likewise, these German missionaries who came from the cold Mediterranean cold climate of Germany into hot tropical Tranquebar. They came to suffer from tropical diseases, hot diseases. And for the first time, they suffered from those diseases, and they were very happy and thankful to the Tamil Siddha Vaidyas who have cured them. And in this process, they grew. They showed more ambition, more interest, setting aside the task, setting aside their very purpose for which they came, to convert the heathens to convert the Dalits into Christianity. Nowhere can you find in the diaries how many natives. In January month I have converted 20 natives. In February month I have converted 25 diaries. No German missionaries has ever written so. I have been searching for such a document, such a source material, primary or secondary or even tertiary, which will have statistical database of name of German missionary, his tenure period in Tamil Nadu, number of natives he had converted. Such a data is not yet available because they spent all their tenure period in other activities. And one German in Germany criticized them. There is a spiritual paralysis. So the missionaries sent from here are suffering from spiritual paralysis, set aside their very mission and showed deep interest for other activities. Okay, now I can show you one page from Grundler's diary. I will zoom it. Now you can see this. This is the prescription for 3 or 5 prescriptions. The Tamil words, you can very well read this. This is 1/4 is call in Tamil. Mass is measure padi. So this prescription consists of nellennai, sesamum indicum, gingerly oil, taken in quarter measure, and ulli means onion. And vasambu, I wrote in Tamil also. Vasambu, mix these ingredients in and make a paste with nellennai that cured some disease. I am not able to read the cursive writing of the Grundler. He wrote like this. All these he wrote in a treatise and sent them to Germany. Second one is, you can see this, Eruka ilai, Nochi ilai, Agatti ilai, Nelliveli ilai, Inji. Fifth ingredient is Inji, all made into a paste and mixed in 1 mass nellennai. 1 mass means 1 padi. To cure what disease, I am not able to read it out. The cursive writing is very difficult. This is classical German. Even printed German sometimes will be printed German. Of course, one can read now the modern German, as we have in our Tamil, old Tamil system, that is Vattelithu, like that. This is a classical German cursive writing. It's difficult to make out. And another next prescription is 1 Indupu. 1 Indupu. Next 2 is Sukku. 3 is Madale Uppu. And then we have Murungapattai. Murungapattai, drumstick tree. The skin of it, Murungapattai. Sharanai. All these are made into a paste and administered for certain disease. What disease? One has to go into one has to do research. And the next one is Picum virai. You can very well read it. It's very clear. Picum virai and nellennai. See, I found in some of the diaries, nellennai is used. Nellennai is gingerly oil. Sesamum indicum is used as base material for making many medicines. So these German missionaries kept on showing more and more interest for our Siddha Vaidyam. Next one is Christoph Theodor Walter. He came after Grundler. He wrote his diary is a particular diary of Christoph Theodor Walter. This is Walter. And in his book, he is having a book in his hand. He can read Tamil word, Vedam. This is Vedam. Okay, that is not important. Now, what he wrote in a particular diary dated 20th February 1726 is Tamil medical men knew of 4,448 diseases and corresponding curative tropical herbal treatments. His diary gives us information about certain diseases. In their day schools and boarding schools, the missionaries established schools to give free education. Earlier, education was the sole monopoly of upper caste people. The downtrodden, the Dalits were denied good education. After the advent, this is one advantage for the Dalits. After the advent of the Christian missionaries, they had free education. And his diary quotation in their the day school and boarding schools, they had to do with the whooping cough called kakuwan, which is infectious. It affects the children, particularly during nights, with heavy breathing caused by phlegm and mucous membrane. So a few lines I omitted. The other disease is called sogai. Sogai is anemia. Such patients get swollen and their eyes become pale. What medicine was given for such patients, how they were cured, are all found in our medical palm leaf manuscripts. And then I wish to take you to the climax of my presentation, and you must see this missionary, C.S. John, Christoph Samuel John. He did a wonderful thing, what others have not done. See, this is Christoph Samuel John. He also belongs to the 18th century German missionary who was again sent to convert us to Christianity, who never converted Tamils into Christianity. Instead, he showed great interest for rabies. What is rabies? What I have presented a detailed research paper on rabies, German missionaries and rabies hydrophobia at an international conference organized in Berlin in the year 1910, and it was published in the year 1912. And this paper is available online in my website. Anyone can read it. A summary of that I give now. Rabies is a dreadful as yet 100% incurable fatal disease. Rabies continues to be a serious public health problem in many countries, especially in developing and underdeveloped countries. Some dogs which breed the dreadful rabies virus in their mouths are the carriers of this disease. In a few countries like India, there are stray dogs roaming about on roads, and there are no rigid rules and legislations to regulate the upbringing by their owners. If these stray dogs bite a passerby, he is rushed to the government hospital and given ARV, anti-rabies vaccination. The poor slum children and even the rich ones, while playing with their pet dogs, contract this disease. The saliva of rabid dogs, when it comes into contact with the skin of the human prey, with even a slight bruise, transmits into the blood system the rabid virus, which in turn, after many weeks and even months, enter into the nervous system and affect finally the brain. At this stage, the patient crawls, sometimes barks like a dog, and shows deep aversion to water. Hydro means water, phobia means aversion, and die out in the most cruel and miserable manner. So, what is the medicine? The native Tamil doctors, better known as Siddhas, 300 years ago, treated critical rabies victims with the herbal medicine, the formula of which I found in Germany way back in 1986, nearly 35 years ago, in a brittle German diary of 18th century, most presumably written by this Christoph Samuel John, German missionary John. In this prescription, I read the names of few indigenous herbal samples which grow in the tropical Tamil Nadu during August to March, and the name of a certain wild animal, the ash of whose skin, together with the herbs, were used to prepare this medicine. So this is the medicine. And then the methodology. What is the methodology we adopted? This is a very infectious disease. Even now, 15 days ago, I got a news that in Tanjore Medical College, one woman at the age of about 50 years contracted rabies. The only medicine is they will put the patient in a cell, in a jail-like cell, and wait until they die. Once they died, I was working in Madras Medical College for nearly 13 years. There is one ward called rabies ward number 21, and there, when the rabies patient are admitted, they will lock the cell and give the key to the Ripon building municipal corporation health officer. He will have the key with him, and when the patient died, a phone will go to the corporation health officer, who will come in a van, take the body. They won't give the body to the relatives for last rites also, and put the body in the incinerator and burn them out as ashes, because the disease is so contagious. So, certain medical, zoological, and public health protocols prevented me from preparing this medicine. Because as one of the ingredients is to be prepared from the skin of a wild animal, the animal rights activists and even the law of the land may place hindrance for this. This problem can be solved if we make use of the skins of such animals after they died. As I am not a Siddha medical doctor, I cannot bring out the medicine all by myself. I used to interact and work with a medical organization to revolutionize the fight against rabies. An international patent has to be obtained. A cost-effective medicine, as prescribed in the German diary, has to be prepared, tested on rabies patients with the cooperation of philanthropic medical research foundations, and finally, the medicine should be made available to the rabies victims at nominal cost, friends, or even free of cost. What I have been doing after finding this 35 years ago, what I have done, methodology. And then I must go to next, yes. Spade work. What spade work I did? With a view to publicize this medical project, I even presented a research paper on this rabies hydrophobia. Detailed information about this medical project can be had from my research paper presented at Berlin in 2002, which had been published in 2012. And this is available in my website. This is my website. It's available online. And finally, one important information, friends. The US-based Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grants huge funds for eradicating major health hazards like tuberculosis, AIDS, polio across the world. This foundation periodically publishes, through the Grand Challenge Exploration schemes, medical programs under various themes, and sends such program notifications to the interested researchers, research organizations. Friends, very much moved by their motto that all lives have equal value, I also logged in to download the prescribed application form. But it appears that Gates Foundation considers application only from research organizations and not from any individual researcher. So, a medical and philanthropic research foundation may be persuaded to work as an affiliating institution through whom grants from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation can be applied for. Certain initial contract with the terms and conditions is to be finalized, in which a few aspects like how this affiliating institution will help me to get the international patent registered, how effectively will it interact with the government agencies to procure the skin of wild animal to test this Siddha medicine on mice, guinea pigs, or any other animals, and other such allied aspects are to be discussed in detail. So, friends, these heaps and heaps of original source materials with the diaries, hundreds and hundreds of diaries, are now well preserved in the Franca Foundation's archives of Martin Luther University. This is the Franca Foundation archives, which I visited a few times. This is in the city Halle. When I went in 1986, it was East Germany, German Democratic Republic, and the rules, the law of the land was very strict and rigid. Westerners cannot go; they are not permitted to enter into East Germany. So I was somehow taken to this place. My friend, a doctor working nearby, took me to this place, and I was simply delighted to find our rich cultural, socio-economic, medical heritage in the form of palm leaves well preserved there. This is the Franca Foundation Archives of Martin Luther University, and this is the entrance gate of Martin Luther University. And I wrote, as you may know, 20 weeks serial in Ananda Vigadan, all about my research. I mean, not all about, a few, a few aspects about my research on German Tamil studies. So much. These palm leaf bundles, thousands of diaries, station registers, travel accounts, grant notices, royal orders, rare Tamil heritage artifacts, etc., are now preserved in the Franken Foundation's archives and of Martin Luther University in Germany. Now, I would like to ask you 3 questions. Question number 1. German missionaries who came here to propagate the gospel, when they started from Germany, they were all very eager, very, what do you say, determined to spread this the gospel and not to mind anything other than that. But curiously, as after coming here, they set aside their religious commitment, religious obligation, and they forgot their very mission and showed more interest. Why? This is $1 million question. Question number 2. And why these, within quotes, disobedient, sarcastic quote, disobedient missionaries were not taken to task by the Danish paymaster? The king should have told them, see, I have paid him money for several years, and also your boarding and lodging there, everything was free. All the expenses were borne by my exchequer, Danish exchequer. But you have not done what we have ordered you to do. Why not you repay your salary? The king would have asked. But no, the king did not ask. On the other hand, he also fell a prey to our Tamil culture, Tamil language. That is, this is why he has not asked them to return back the money. Why he had not asked for any explanation is $1 billion question. And third question is, above all, why those Lutheran stalwarts in Denmark and Germany who showed deep interest to spread the gospel in Tamil Nadu, who had unsatiable thirst quenched to propagate the gospel in Danish colony, simply let it off and diluted their zeal, is even now a $1 trillion eyebrow-raising question to me. One simple answer for all these 3 questions is the innate German passion for our Tamil studies, Tamil language literature, society and culture, medicine, diseases in medicine, certainly overpowered, overshadowed, and outweighed their very mission, the spread of the gospel. And now I would like to say a few words about how my research, German Tamil studies, will instigate similar research activities in other language areas of India. Sun's light is a composite one, white light. If you place an equilateral glass prism, it can be split into 7 constituent colors: Vidgaya, violet, indigo, blue, orange, green, and red. So also can German Indology be split into various branches. What I have done is a small portion, as I wrote in Ananda Vigadan. German contribution to Tamil studies is like an ocean, Perungadal. Sea is Kadal, ocean is Perungadal. And my research is just one part of an ocean of water. What remains is millions of parts. So, my research field, German Tamil studies. Likewise, German missionaries worked in Telugu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, and other parts also. There was one missionary whom I have referred to, who worked in Agra for 14 years. So, I cannot go into all this because I don't know Telugu, Kannadam, Malayalam, or any such languages. So, my research will pave the way, I believe, will instigate, will prompt research scholars to take the German contribution to Telugu studies, German contributions to Kannadam studies, German contributions to Malayalam studies, German contributions to Devanagari studies, German contribution to Sanskrit studies, and so on. And one will be able to compare and contrast in which area the German contribution are more prominent. Undoubtedly, without an iota of doubt, their contribution to Tamil language literature is far above than the rest of the other things. In a scale pan, tarasu, if you put in one pan the German contribution to Tamil studies and in another pan all other European contribution to Tamil studies, still the first pan, this 30 to 32, this pan will go down because their contribution is very much, without any exaggeration, I would like to say. So, I think this is enough for today's delivery because it does not cover social aspect. I have not wait. I will show you the. These are the other things which I very much like, but this is not for Siddha medicine. This is socio-cultural aspect. See, these rare artifacts were sent. The rare artifacts were sent to Germany at a remarkable haste by the next available ship by the missionaries. What these are, I need one more sitting. I cannot cover them in one sitting. This is jewel box, and then this is a model palanquin, palak, and then this is spikes, footwear. Who worked on this? All this will take more time. I cannot. Vishnu Siegenbald drew this Vishnu temple and sent it to Germany. Siegenbald drew the Shiva temple plan and sent it to Germany. This is not what the king had asked him. So there are so many other times. Finally, Vishnu temple. See, this is also was sent from Tamil Nadu to Germany in the early 18th century. This is miniature Vishnu temple with Sri Devi and Bhudevi with the Sanku and Chakra. So all these are there, and the cultural historians will have ample source material to, in my estimate, nearly half a dozen doctoral studies can be taken up with these materials. With these words, I thank you all. I thank you all for your patient hearing, and you can ask questions if any.
Thank you, sir, for showing. Thank you, sir, for showing us the roots of our ancient medical system and their rich heritage. You have clearly outlined the role of German missionaries in changing the notion that Tamilians were barbarians and that we had rich cultural practices. It is surprising to know that the ancient Tamilians knew about 4,448 diseases and their herbal cures, especially rabies. So, at this junction, sir, I have a question. What prompted you to select this area as your research and to go to the extent of creating a website? You should have, there would have been some starting spark.
Yes. This is a good question. The year 1966, 76, 86, 96, 2006, 16, 53 years ago, I entered into Max Muller Bhavan in Chennai to learn German language, to spend time, that's all. And there I saw one book authored by Walter Leifer. The title of the book is India and the Germans, 500 Years of Indo-German Contacts. In that book, there are 13 chapters, and one chapter, namely third chapter, he gave some small, very few information about early Germans like Siegenbald, Benjamin Schulze, Grundler, that's all. Other chapters are devoted to German Sanskrit studies. See, it is a pity that for today's Germans, Indian literature means Sanskrit literature. No, it is not so. So that book gave me the early inspiration to take up this work. Will it be just the Germans came and went off, or did they continue their activities in Tamil Nadu? That way I started to think. And then I registered for a PhD, Germans in Madras Presidency in the year 1989. I went to Germany for data collection on the DAT scholarship, DAAD scholarship. 6 times I went, all the 6 times I was invited by I went through German government scholarship only. And for all these, the players, all these, the work started with Walter Leifer's India and the Germans, 500 years of Indo-German contact, which instigated, which impelled me, which prompted me to go deeper and deeper. So as I found it out, there were many missionaries following Siegenball throughout the 18th century, 19th century, but all of them were interested in other things other than spreading the gospel. That is the nature, that is the beauty of our language, our socio-cultural setup, etc., etc. I think I have answered your question to your satisfaction.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir. Participants, do you have any other questions? You may ask.
Good evening, sir. This is Dr. Asha. Sir, I have a question.
Mhm.
Is the Siddha and Ayurvedic medicine are same, sir? And is the German missionaries contributed anything for Ayurveda medicine, sir?
It's a right question, but a wrong person. Their contribution to Ayurveda, I have not researched at all. Their contributions and involvement in Siddha medicine only I have taken up. But somebody, in that case, I would just outline one thing. Ayurvedic medicine was more prevalent in northern part of India, if I am right. And the Germans who worked in northern part of India, like Agra, I have mentioned about one missionary who worked in Agra during the period of Shah Jahan and his son Aurangzeb. He was a court physician for the Mughal emperors, and his name was Heinrich Roth. He came to Agra and remained there for 14 years. He was in the royal court of Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb for 14 years, and he wrote diaries. Somebody might take it. It is not my area to. So they should have involved themselves in the Ayurvedic medicine also. Yes, probably yes, they would have involved themselves. But how much they did, I cannot say. I have not researched it into. Yes,
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
welcome.
Any other question?
Sir, good evening. I'm Priyadarshini. Sir, before COVID, Indian government had signed a treaty with Germany to work along on arthritis, osteoarthritis, and all that based on Siddha. Maybe after COVID they dropped it, or is it still on joint intent or something they signed before COVID time, 2017-18? Was the news. India and Germany, they are going to collaborate on governments. They had signed a treaty. Berlin University and our Ayush Ministry.
Yes. So the Ayush Ministry will be able to give correct answer. Yes, it is possible that Ayush Ministry in India will collaborate with Berlin. Yes, best place would be Martin Luther University, where you have these Siddha medical notes.
This last slide you were talking about cure for rabies and all, no, sir. So for that, can't they go through this? I was wondering. This Siddha cure for rabies.
Yes.
This won't help them to get the.
But madam, just one thing. During the COVID period, people were worried about how to eradicate COVID only. They would never have thought about rabies at all.
Okay.
And one thing, my rabies project could not give fruitful results in Europe, in America, because I was told by a professor in Martin Luther University, C. Mohanavelu, in India and developing countries, stray dogs can be found, but not in developed countries like Germany, France, elsewhere, because we periodically give them anti-ARVs, and there is we can't find any stray dogs. And rabies will not be found in these developed countries. And so your project may not get the expected response here. You must try in developing countries. In India, there are more rabies victims every year. As per the Hindu newspaper report, 30,000 people die away. Recently, just one fortnight ago, I had a news from Tanjavur Medical College Hospital, where a woman aged 50 years died, and her 3 daughters shed tears because the hospital authorities did not give her body to conduct the last rites. They took away the body and burnt it. Such is the cruelty of this disease. It is a laudable aspect, madam. It is a laudable aspect that our Siddha Vaidyas found out a curative medicine, even to the critical stage, to cure those rabies patients when their counterparts in other parts of the world then until now had not found out such a life-saving miracle medicine. That is a laudable aspect for Tamil people. Yes.
True, true, sir, true, sir.
Sir, I'm Dr. R. Meenakshi.
Yes.
Sir, you told me that you worked in Madras Medical College.
Yes.
So from there you moved to history, no, sir?
Yes.
So maybe that combination has helped you to do research or to get I don't know how to say that interest towards towards that medicine came from Madras Medical College, sir.
No. It is a very good important question also. In Madras Medical College, from the year 1967 to 80, 13 years, I worked as physics demonstrator. I'm a graduate of physics, BSc Physics. I worked as physics demonstrator. Now, to get a to get myself elevated to lecturer level, one must have postgraduate degree, at least MA or MSc. That was the ruling by the Tamil Nadu government. Only then I will be given University Grants Commission scale of pay. At that time, I was married and I cannot do MSc Physics. MSc Physics means 2 years full time. I will not get the pay from the Tamil Nadu government. Tamil Nadu government said, we will allow you to go to do MSc Physics, but we can't give you salary for 2 years. Without salary, I cannot eat. So I opted for MA History in the year 1977. I opted for, I undertook MA History, for which working teachers need not put in minimum attendance. Madras University had given us an exemption stating that those government teachers who are regularized teachers need not put in attendance in private in regular colleges. They can simply write MA examination as private candidates. I wrote MA exam as a private candidate and passed MA. While doing that, even before that, as I told you, I learned German language for 9 semesters, 4.5 years in Max Muller Bhavan. That time only, this idea about Germans, the third chapter of Walter Leifer's book, India and the Germans, kept on ringing in my head. Somehow I must go deep and deeper into the subject. So after getting MA, I was promoted as assistant professor of history and posted in Tiruvallur Government Arts College. And then I registered for a PhD with Madras University in the year 1989. The general topic was the Germans in Madras Presidency. And then within 4 years of part-time research, I finished my doctoral study. Before that, I went to Germany, Heidelberg University, where my professor got me scholarship, German Academic Exchange Service Scholarship. I went there to collect materials, and I went to the East German government here, the Martin Luther University, where I found, to my great surprise, I cannot express my surprise here. Great surprise, our diaries, our palm leaf manuscript, these rare artifacts are preserved there. That is called Wonder Chamber. They have given a correct name, Wonder Chamber, in which we find these rare artifacts, which I just now shown you now. All these are there, and I took notes, and they sent me microfilms, because if you take the Xerox copy, it will be 8 kilograms. In Lufthansa aircraft, they will charge me very high rates. So they said, you go to your India, we will send microfilms by post. As said, they did it within 1 week. The microfilms came, and with that microfilm, another hindrance was in Madras. At that time, there was no college having microfilm reader. Microfilm I got from Germany, by microfilm reader is costly. Minolta microfilm reader is 6 lakhs rupees. Then I went to Madras IIT, where in Madras Archives in Egmore, they don't have microfilm reader at that time, 1987, I think, yes. I went and did that research as a full-time scholar by the grant from Indian Council of Historical Research for converting my part-time research into full-time research with pay protected. Last pay was given to me for 2 years by Indian Council of Historical Research. I conducted the research in IIT because IIT, there is a German language department. I was given a German language laboratory, and in the main library, something very interesting. The main library at that time got one Minolta microfilm reader. Madam, is it clear so far what I have said to you?
Yes, sir.
Have I said in a clear manner?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Very clear. Yes.
6 lakhs rupees. The Madras IIT purchased one microfilm reader. Brand is Minolta brand. Excellent microfilm reader. They want the salesman was asking the manager to sign the bill so that he can get the money. And the manager was telling, listen, I want to test this. I don't have microfilm. At that time, I entered with the microfilm. Sir, is there any microfilm reader anywhere in your library? So he said very gladly, he took my microfilm and put it in the new microfilm reader, which was okay. So in that microfilm reader, I read many frames of the microfilms, which I got from Martin Luther University, and took down notes, and so on, so on. Indian Council of Historical Research paid me for 2 years, and those 2 years, 87 to 89, I was attached to the Humanities Department of Madras IIT, where I conducted my research. And then I rejoined back into government service, and the rest is history. Anything else you would like to know? So I started as a physics demonstrator and ended up with German Tamil studies. I retired in the year 2003, and even after that, one thing I tell you, even after that, there is a scheme in the University Grants Commission, that also I must tell you. University Grants Commission has a scheme in which they fund retired professors from recognized universities and colleges. In that, I applied for a major research project. Some lakhs they gave me. I did one research called annotated bibliography for German Tamil studies during 18th and 19th century. That is, whatever research materials I have collected so far, nearly 5 years, their call numbers, their accession number, their location, storage details, everything I put, and whatever materials I had with me, I gave 100 bibliography, books and journals, souvenirs, palm leaves, all you can find in that project, in the postdoc research project published by Stanford University, which is available online in my website. It's available online in my website.
We saw that.
If you go to my website,
I think he lost the internet. And the thesis is also excellent. It is in Shodh Ganga. The thesis he's talking about, since he knows both the languages, his thesis, the PhD thesis he's talking about,
Yes.
is in Shodh Ganga. It is excellent by any standards. It is excellent because he knows both the languages, right? So the original German version he gives, and then he gives the translation also. So whatever arguments he is putting forward, he is giving it with an authentic note. I was just talking about your thesis, sir, which is uploaded in Shodh Ganga, which is of the. Can you hear me? The mic is off, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just talking to the vice principal about your thesis in Shodh Ganga, which I have.
Yes, University Grants Commission, Shodh Ganga.
Yeah. It is by any standards, it is very good, sir. Excellent.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Inspiration, because very rare you come across a person who is proficient in both the languages.
Thank you.
And it's an inspiring thesis, sir. Very inspiring. And that is why we had the honor of inviting you for this conference. We are so happy that you came. You are an inspiration for all of us.
Yes, there are so much of material for cultural historians. Cultural historians. Socio-cultural activities can be done. Researchers.
This also it is a question, in spite of Tamil reaching Germany much ahead than Sanskrit, and why is it they are not talking about Tolkappiyam? In all their researches on structuralism and linguistics.
That is what I say. For many German scholars, many professors, Indian literature means Sanskrit literature.
Yeah.
India means Vedic India, Buddhist India, Sanskrit India. They simply let off South India.
And they branched out to say a place like Mricha Kadiga, Gethe was inspired by Shakuntala, but Shakuntala is different. But Mrichakadiga is a different kind of a story, which you are popularized. So, kind of, Tamil lost its.
No, nowadays it is gaining momentum in Cologne University. There is one professor by name Ulrich Niklas. She teaches Tamil, and when it was about to be closed for want of funds in the year 2005, madam, the year 2005, these Cologne University authorities one fine morning decided to close down the Tamil department for paucity of funds.
Okay.
But the Tamil diaspora across the world wrote letters not to close down. I was one of them to write a letter to the rector. Rector means vice chancellor, not to close the Tamil department, because I quoted many incidences in German languages, how those German missionaries liked as early as 1715 itself to saying that Tamil is a worthy, rich enough language to be taught in German universities. Such an old language which you people liked centuries ago. Why do you want to close it? Then it was not closed, it was revived. I am happy and proud to be one of the members who resisted that move. Now in Cologne, Tamil department still functions, and our Honorable Chief Minister Mukha Stalin gave 1.5 crore, I believe, as soon as he assumed Chief Minister post. Very recently, yes. So Tamil is there, but not widely, as you said. In Heidelberg University, Tamil department is there. I first went to Heidelberg University. From there only I went to Martin Luther University. Yes, Tamil is being taught in Cologne University is there, and München University, I think they still teach Tamil. Yes. Yeah. Anything else you can ask? You can feel free to ask me. My website. Just wait, I will show my website. You can note down or take a photo with your Android mobile and then go through my website, including the links. And if you have any doubt, you are free to contact me to my email, my website.
We will mail the website link to all the participants of this talk series.
Wait. This is my website, madam. And in that you can find my email ID address also. But anyways, this college will give you Catherine will give you my email ID, everything, phone number, everything. You can just write to my email. But after going through this website and after entering your comments in the guest book there is one link called guest book in my website. Please write your comments. Yes, your observations and any conservative criticism also you can post in it. There is a guest book link in my website. You can post it there. Yes. Anything? Any other question? Most welcome to ask me.
Sir, PhD students produce பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா சார்?
Yes. I usually take for my MPhil and doctoral candidates mostly visually impaired students. Yes, half of them or even more, 60-70% students were visually challenged students. And one of them by name Muthuraman got a PhD, and I got him Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund, 6,000 rupees per month for 3 years, and he got the doctoral degree, and he was appointed as assistant professor in Government Arts College, Dindivanam. He got as much as 50,000 or 60,000, and very pathetically, he died 5 years ago. That is the loss which is irreparable to me. I considered him as my own son. He is blind, but still, madam, he was top ranking chess player.
Okay.
Chess player without 2 eyes. He will give me email with his laptop by one software he had installed that is called Kurzweil, the German software Kurzweil. He installed it in his laptop, and he used to send me emails. It will give sound. We need not type it out.
Okay.
He was totally blind. I am very, very, very sorry to have lost him.
But still you are continuing with your research, sir?
No, I am retired nearly 20 years ago.
Okay.
All my students have got their doctorate degrees and settled elsewhere. Yes, one student by name Sneha Tiwari is in Bangalore as a professor of history, I think. Yes, and I don't hear much from her nowadays. But the materials which I have, I'm preparing a library with the materials, with the souvenirs. I brought from Germany many rare books, journals, and souvenirs with which I will construct a library which will be uploaded in my website. After seeing that, if you want any book in that library, you can ask for that. I will send a scanned copy of those pages.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome. Yes, I think.
Any other questions, participants?
There is one message in chat box. Rebecca Dennis. Good evening, sir. This session has been a real eye opener. We have not had much exposure to the contributions of German to Siddha medicine. It would be nice if we could make more people aware of their extensive contribution to this field. Yes, yes. More people should know the richness, the glory of our Siddha medicine. Especially in the world when there is no medicine for rabies, our people have found it out and cured the many dying critical rabies patient is a laudable aspect indeed. How to popularize it is anybody's is not my task alone. All I am not a Siddha medical doctor. I told you one affiliating institution, a foundation should be found who will apply for a grant. Huge grants are given by Melinda and Bill Gates. They keep on writing to me, but they said for individual scholar, we do not consider their application. I get periodic periodic emails from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They have a grant challenges scheme to eradicate this AIDS, polio in developing countries like Namibia, certain other African countries who are poor people. They alleviate poverty. That way, if somebody, some foundations, how many foundations I wrote, you will find in my published paper. Paper is available in my website, German Missionaries and Rabies Hydrophobia. If you go there, you can find how many companies I have stepped in and stepped out. So many companies, especially the German company, Horses, you must have known about it. They made a huge propaganda advertisement in railway compartments saying that they are the guardians of medical system. And when I wrote to them, and even when my German professor Rotherman wrote to them to help me to bring out this medicine, they simply shut the door. And then I approached Zandu Pharmacy. I approached the Kottakkal Arya Vaidyashala, many companies, many medical pharmaceutical companies I approached. I wrote them, here is a formula, wonder formula, which will save the dying critical rabies patient for which there is no medicine elsewhere in the world. But nobody came forward. I wrote it very clearly in my paper. Please read that paper. Available in my website, German Missionaries and Rabies Hydrophobia. It has been published. It has been published in a journal also in the year 2012. Yes, yes. After reading that, you can ask more questions, I think. Yes. So for social history, for cultural history, hundreds of materials are still there in Germany, and researchers can do very good qualitative research. I will be helping them. I can help them with whatever little knowledge I know. Yes.
Any questions, participants? Or shall we wind up?
Any question? Any more question?
It's really interesting, sir. Lot.
Yes, I am equally interested.
One lesson we have to take from you, sir. That in life, many of us think that what we think doesn't happen and we get something else. But today, had the Madras Medical College let you to do your MSc Physics with pay, we would have lost a great historian.
MA history.
I switched over to MA history
Maybe
because
you would have.
tell me.
Yeah. So God's plans are always better than us.
Yes, if God nearly
Can you
1.5 hours.
Yes, Catherine. Yeah.
Above all, we have very soon World Cup for football now. Yes. 8:30 it starts. Yes.
Okay. Once again, thank you so much, sir.